I'm here with the hair Jackson Hinkle, and guess what? This might make you shit your pants.
Advancing very fast. But can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants, and we measure your brain waves, and I can immediately tell you how the people react, or I can feel how the people react to your answers. Is it imaginable?
So I like how Klaus Schwab answers the question, what if George Soros was somehow more sinister and less charismatic? If you thought the future sounded nightmarish before, just wait till you hear it described in a German accent.
That does make it a lot worse.
Can you imagine Klaus Schwab directly in your brain? Look how excited the guy he's talking to is, just to imagine that bright future. You see how excited he is? You want to hear his answer? Here it is.
I think that is imaginable. I think
I can imagine a lot of shit, Klaus. You see him? It's imaginable, asshole. That's what that is. He's like rolling his eyes at Klaus.
I think, you can imagine that. You can imagine, well, you're going to be sort of transplanted into, the internet, so to speak, to live forever in a digital realm. You can imagine that, you just in your biological incarnation are going to live to be some, very long age.
So what do you make of that, Jackson? Should I play it again? Let me play it again.
But yeah, play one more
Advancing very fast. But can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants, and we measure your brain waves, and I can immediately tell you how the people react, or I can feel how the people react to your answers. Is it imaginable?
I think that is imaginable. I think.
Okay. So, Jackson, let me get your reaction to that. That's not scary, is it? I wonder why people have conspiracy theories around Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum.
It's all the more frightening when you know the people who are advising him. People like, have you heard of Yuval Noah Harari?
I'm going to show a video of him in a second, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, what he talks about makes what Klaus Schwab is discussing look like, kindergarten. It's like, what they want to do is they want to make it so we don't have any sovereignty, we don't have any free will, and having a chip in your head is just a part of it.
That's right. And where does he get who influences him? Where does he get his ideas from? What is the great thinker that was the biggest influence on Klaus Schwab? You ready for this?
Back to the time you said when you came here, it transformed your life. Was there a course, a professor who really made that difference for you?
Yes, there was one course, one seminar of Henry Kissinger.
Henry Kissinger! Henry Kissinger is the guy who excited his brain to do what he's doing.
Which really opened my eyes. I wasn't accepted to the seminar, but I sat in. I think he let me in because I was German. And it was relatively shortly after the war. There were not too many Germans here. And this created a friendship which has endured until today. And Henry has been several times in Davos. And I think it was mainly participating in his seminars that I developed my interest for geopolitical affairs.
It was Henry Kissinger that he developed his interest in geopolitical affairs. Jeez. He's like if Dr. Strangelove wasn't a doctor, just some German jagoff who sucked up to Henry Kissinger. That's what that is. Here's more from him.
I'm convinced that we will destroy, unfortunately, a lot of employment. Just think of self-guided cars, and all the drivers losing their jobs. Let's look at the bank employees and so on.
If you're left behind, you're facing something far worse, which is to be completely irrelevant. They won't even need you as a serf or as a slave. Direct brain-computer interfaces, replacing organic hands with bionic hands, adding to the body a second immune system, which is not organic, but an inorganic immune system, made up of millions of tiny nanorobots inside your body. And if we hack the brain, and if we understand how billions of neurons create subjective experiences of anger and love and pain and pleasure, then there should be no barrier for recreating these kinds of experiences based on silicon and not carbon, based on computers and not brains.
So that's his number one advisor, by the way, that guy you just heard talking. That's the number one advisor to Klaus Schwab. And here's some more of that guy. That guy's name is Uri. What is his name?
Yuval Noah Harari.
Yeah.
A couple of decades, when people look back, the thing they will remember from the COVID crisis is this is the moment when everything went digital. And if this was the moment when everything became monitored.
When everything became monitored. This is the moment. He's talking about COVID. This was the moment.
Biodata collection, all that stuff.
Yeah. Right. So watch, he'll explain it.
Agreed to be surveyed all the time.
Hang on, let me back it up.
Moment when everything became monitored. That we agreed to be surveyed all the time, not just in authoritarian regimes, but even in democracies. And maybe most importantly at all, this was the moment when surveillance started going under the skin. Because really we haven't seen anything yet. I think that the big process that's happening right now in the world is hacking human beings, the ability to hack humans, to understand deeply what's happening within you, what makes you go. For that, the most important data is not what you read and who you meet and what you buy, it's what's happening inside your body. So we had these two big revolutions, the computer science revolution, or the infotech revolution, and the revolution in the biological sciences. And they are still separate, but they are about to merge. They are merging around, I would say, the biometric sensor. It's the thing, it's the gadget, it's the technology that converts biological data into digital data that can be analyzed by computers. And having the ability to really monitor people under the skin, this is the biggest game changer of all.
So I guess that's from, I don't know where this video came from, the Real World News Channel. I never heard of them. But those are definitely scary videos. And when he says they won't even need you as a slave. So I guess that makes Kamala Harris, she could finally let those prisoners out of that'll be exciting. I know it sounds scary, but don't worry. Global capitalism can always find a way to make you a slave. Stuff like this used to be the purview of conspiracy theorists, but here it is on video. And here they are saying it into microphones, and with shit like the World Economic Forum and the New York Times in the background. What are we supposed to make of this, Jackson?
Well, they're just admitting it. They admitted that COVID, the biodata collection and surveillance under the skin, not just in autocratic regimes, but in democracies, is all a part of it. And, you know, they really haven't been hiding it all that well for all that long. I mean, Sapiens is the famous book that Bill Gates recommends, Barack Obama recommends, and guess who wrote it? Yuval Noah Harari.
No.
Yeah, it's like one of Obama's top recommended books of all time.
Have you read that book?
I have not. I have not, but this guy's, he's a genius. I'm sure it's fascinating read for better or worse. but he's like an evil genius, obviously.
Obviously.
And again, the clips that you played are all frightening, but the most frightening clips in podcasts I've listened to him on are when he talks about. He kind of got into it a little bit when he started talking about how we won't even need them as slaves. They talk like that because they truly do view the masses as less than lab mice, like test mice in a lab. And he talks about how he wants to be able to remove free will from the people, average people all across the world. That's the most frightening thing of all, removing free will. And he's very passionate about this.
Yeah, he's definitely seemed into it. He was in it to win it, that guy, for sure. I don't know what to make of any of this shit, but it's digital IDs. They love monitoring you. We saw the head of Pfizer talk about the pill that you could take that was going to transmit back to them if you took it or not. He talked about compliance. They do want to get rid of your free will, and there's no better way to get rid of your free will than to digitize all the money. So as soon as you say something they don't like, they can take your money away. They can shut down your bank account with the snap of a finger. Even less.
You see what Tesla's doing with the cars?
No.
I just see it as like a canary in the coal mine. Someone had like an old battery on their Tesla, and Tesla was giving them alerts saying you have to update your battery. And the person wasn't doing it, so Tesla locked them out of their car. Yeah. And I also heard a story, actually, no, it was reported. There's another story in which someone was falling behind on their lease payments or whatever, and rather than getting like a repo guy to go get the car back, they just self-automated drove the car back to wherever, the Tesla factory or wherever they have the cars from.
Oh, this is not. You know what's going to happen is there's going to be a car company, a rogue car company that's going to start making kick-ass cars that don't track you, and they don't and won't be able to do that.
The rumble of cars.
The rumble of cars. And that would be like you'll be like a real, like that'll be the equivalent of the black leather jacket in the 50s and 60s. You'll have that car that can't be tracked. When you see that guy, you're like, that guy's outside the system, man. That guy's a greaser. He's greasing his hair back, man. What do the kids do today? I don't know what they do to be anti-establishment. They can't wear their pants any baggier or tighter, by the way, at the same time. I will bet my life on it that skinny jeans will be looked at with scorn for the remainder of our history. It'll take a few years to get some distance from it, but believe me.
COVID mandates, Yuval Noah Harari, supplanting free will, and skinny jeans.
Skinny jeans. So what's going to happen is someone's going to just start selling used cars. I think that's what's going to happen. The cars that don't track you. Like an Oldsmobile. They don't even sell Oldsmobiles anymore. What a bad name for a car company. Can you believe it lasted that long? Oldsmobiles?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, you're kidding.
How about a VW? Do you know VW?
Siri.
Yeah, I know what a VW is.
Hey, Siri, when did Oldsmobile go out of business? 2004.
So I was 4.
They didn't go out of business. They just changed the name. I think they're owned by General Motors. General Motors discontinued the Oldsmobile brand in 2004 after a production run of 96 years.
Wow.
So they got away with the name for 96 years, and then they're like, this name isn't working. It worked for 96, almost a whole century. Virginia Beach, Richmond, Arlington, San Jose, Miami, West Palm Beach. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all the tickets and become a premium member while you're there.